All right, we got 2 more calls to get through fairly quickly. Jesus in Mexico, thank you for waiting.
Hi, Jesus.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Hello, Jenna. Hello, Matt. So I'm an atheist. I've been following the show for a long time, and I share your view that I like to have good reasons for my beliefs and arguments. Now, however, I recently realized that I don't agree with one of yours, specifically, Matt. I don't know, Jenna, if you share this view as Matt, but I think your response to the theist's version of the Kalam cosmological argument is a little hypercritical.
Okay, because
here's why.
So I guess the screener got this wrong because it says here that you were going to talk about my response to the ontological argument, but we're actually talking about the Kalam, right?
Sorry, yeah, that was my mistake.
Okay. Sure.
So the conclusion is the universe has a cause, right?
Yes, that's the conclusion of the Kalam.
Okay, so theists will say that God doesn't need a cause for whatever reason they have, which doesn't matter. And you'll say something along the lines of, that's special pleading. Is that fair so far?
So my objection to the Kalam cosmological argument is that the premises aren't demonstrated and the conclusion has nothing to do with whether or not there's a God. What you're talking about is what happens after the Kalam, where they've concluded that the universe has a cause and they know what it is. I don't know that my response has anything to do with whether or not their God has a cause.
Okay. Now, if they say that their God doesn't need a cause, you would then say that's special pleading, right?
Well, it's an assertion. It may or may not be special pleading. The thing is, they would need to demonstrate that their God is in fact real and causeless.
Right. I agree with that. But I've heard you many times saying that special pleading because they say everything is a cause except their God.
Yeah, that part I would argue is special pleading because there isn't a demonstration of a God that exists and doesn't have a cause. So
right.
if they would give the demonstration, then of course it's no longer special pleading. But if their argument, which it is with the Kalam, is to say everything else in the universe, everything else needs a cause, but God doesn't, that is by definition special pleading.
Okay, so let's go from there. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. So talking about different subjects, maybe different shows, you'll usually argue that we don't know what happened, quote unquote, before the Big Bang, and we don't know if logic applies, let alone the laws of physics. So I think there's a double standard there.
No, if I've ever said that logic doesn't apply, well, that was...
We don't know.
No, that was definitely me misspeaking because so far as I can tell, the identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle are as absolute as anything could be, and they are true even in the absence of anything. And so I don't know where I would have ever said that before the Big Bang, we don't even know if the laws of logic applied. What I would say is that prior to the beginning of everything, there's no reason to think that there's any mind to be aware of this stuff or that there's anything that could potentially act. But the laws of logic with respect to identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle, they apply evidently, universally, absolutely, even if there's nothing, even if there's no universe, no nothing. It's just that there wouldn't be anybody to recognize them.
Do we know that?
Well, it has to be the case because any attempt to argue against it would have to assume that they were true. This is why we talk about identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle as if they are absolutes. And so while I don't claim absolute certainty about them, they are the foundation of whatever our maximal certainty can be. So imagine the universe goes away, like right now. Mm-hmm. Then identity, something is what it is still true. Nothing isn't what it isn't.
We don't know that because we don't have that example.
No. It's okay. That's like saying I don't know. I can't come up with a good example. This is a pure logical exercise. And so the only option to say that logic doesn't apply if the universe ceases to exist would have to assume that logic applied in order to make the case that it doesn't apply. And that's how you get into the contradiction. So if somebody wants to say that if the universe goes away, the laws of logic also go away, that all this, they're basically saying that something can be what it is not. And that would need a demonstration.
I agree, but I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying they don't apply. I'm saying we don't know if they apply because we don't know if the laws of physics or logic even apply.
No. Physics are a product of the universe. There's nothing that says there couldn't be another. But logic is not a product of the universe. Logic is true. Logic is what it is, even if logic is what it is, even if the universe doesn't exist.
How do we know that, though?
Because it can't be any other way. We know it because of the impossibility of the contrary.
Because every time that we've ever used logic the way that we know how to use it, it's worked.
Well, no.
This universe,
right?
That's what I mean.
No, that's seeing a trend. I'm saying that is a complete abstract mind experiment. Imagine the universe goes away. Identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle don't. There's just nobody to recognize them or use them, but a thing still is what it is. And
I don't think you have a basis to say that because you have.
Okay.
Is your question, how do we know that logic works?
Well, how do we know it works not in this universe?
We don't have anything that's not in this universe, but...
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So,
smarty pants, exactly. Let me finish my fucking sentence. We don't have anything that's not this universe, but we do have brains. And a brain, it's like saying, I've only ever used logic on Earth. So logic, we don't know that logic works on Mars. We don't know that logic works in Alpha Centauri. Yes, we do, because logic... That's
not the same, though.
It is the same.
Because Mars is in the same universe. It'll basically...
No. You're saying that we've only used logic within this universe. You're expanding it to the whole universe when the truth is you've never used logic outside of the planet Earth. You are expanding it to the whole universe as the result of a thought experiment, and I am expanding it beyond the universe as the result of the exact same thought experiment because the impossibility of the contrary forces me to do so.
I understand what you're saying, but you're assuming the laws of logic apply not in this universe, if that even exists. I'm not saying it does. I'm not saying they don't in another universe. Let's say there's another universe, but we don't know if they do.
Yeah, we do.
How do we know that?
I already told you 4 or 5 times. But
because you don't think it's possible that they don't?
But because of a demonstration of the impossibility of the contrary. But let's set all that aside because you and I are in a universe that we share, right?
Yeah.
And logic works here, right?
Sure.
And it couldn't possibly matter any fucking less if logic doesn't work somewhere else, right?
Sorry, say that again?
We're in this universe, so it doesn't matter whether logic works outside of this universe, right?
Well, it would matter if we're talking about what happens not in this universe, which will be, quote-unquote, before the Big Bang.
If there's a universe outside of us that doesn't affect us in any possible way, then why are we talking about it? Like, why does it matter?
There is no reason to think that logic is bound by the physical facts of the universe. Zero. None. Not a zip, zilch, none.
I don't think I agree with that entirely.
Okay.
Because if an apple is not an apple, that's because we can see the apple and we can see that it's not an apple.
No. An apple is an apple is an apple is an apple, always. And a universe is a universe is a universe, whether you see it or not.
In this universe, sure.
A thing is what it is. And if the universe goes away, then if our universe goes away and there's something else, something before, something outside, it is what it is.
I think you have to you have to prove that.
Okay.
Because you're trying to prove it in this universe with the logic in this universe.
Okay.
If other universes...
I don't care. We're not going to agree on this, and I don't have time to keep explaining it because we got another call to get to before the show's over, but thank you.